Hello, and welcome to Music Theater Theory. Whoa! Today's topic was decided on by my patrons over at Patreon. You should join them if you want to decide what songs I analyze. Today we're doing Hey Mom, Did Mom from Beetlejuice, the musical. This song is a rock song. It basically isn't a musical theater song, except for the fact that it's in a musical and sung by a character. Every element of it musically echoes rock music. The first thing that I can identify that tells you this is a rock song is that it says so right here. The second thing is these chords. They're called open fifth chords, and they're everywhere in this kind of like grunge rock music. And they sound like this. No, not like that. Like this. So why are those chords so popular in rock music? Well, because what instrument is very popular in rock music? I'll give you a hint. It's the guitar. That's it. And what makes open fifth chords so good for guitar is the way that the harmonics, which is like the overarching sound of the instrument, interacts with that chord. Let me give you an example. If I actually switch to electric guitar sound, it's like a shitty MIDI copy, but you can hear how big that sound becomes just from like, even if I just play two notes at a time. Now compare that to a major chord, for example, which has that added third note. That gets really muddy because there's so many harmonic overtones in the sound of an electric, like a distorted electric guitar, that all of those overtones get really muddy when we play all three notes together. And so oftentimes, like hard rock and grunge rock musicians and anyone who's playing with a distorted guitar really will like the sound of that open fifth. The other thing is this steady eighth notes. There's no syncopation, right? Which I sometimes talk about on the channel. It's when the rhythm doesn't exactly follow the beat. A syncopated rhythm would be like boom bop ba doom bop ba doom bum bum boom ba doom bum ba doom bum boom bum ba doom bop ba doom bum bum bum. We're not getting that. We're getting do 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 do. Well, let me change back to piano now, so you don't have to listen to that gross guitar MIDI the whole video. So the bass is totally just laying down those solid eighth notes. And you can almost hear the bass drum going boom, 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 just by listening to the piano. The only syncopation is coming from the harmonic rhythm. So we talk about rhythm, right? Rhythm is the notes that are played in time in relationship to a steady beat. Harmonic rhythm is not just the notes that are played. Harmonic rhythm is specifically when the chord changes. So if I had a song that went like this, the rhythm would be ba 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 ba, but the harmonic rhythm would only be C, A minor, F, G, dum, 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 bum, bum, bum. The harmonic rhythm is the chords are changing every two beats. In Dead Mom, the harmonic rhythm always comes one beat before the bar change. You'll notice this C#5 chord symbol, that's not over here at the start of this bar. That's all the way over here at the end of the bar before. So instead of landing directly on the bar, hey mom, Dead Mom, I need a little help here. How boring would that be? We get the chords are always coming half a beat before the bar, which creates that surprising feeling. Hey mom, Dead Mom, I need a little help here. Probably talking to myself here. Always, always, always 1/8 note before the bar. Then we get, again, the same notes as the open fifth chord. A and E, just now going back and forth between them instead of playing them together. And then we get the same verse. So we have this thing which is also very common in pop music where we repeat the verse twice before we even get to the chorus. The important words are often highlighted by silence. So we have, move along, forget about your mom. Because the band cuts out, we hear the words so much more clearly, and that makes forget about your mom very, very important. Then we get that open fifth chord again, with a D chord below it. And then here we get the chorus. So the chord comes in again, half a beat before the start of the bar, just like in the verse. But this time the rhythm cuts out. And then we just have these two hits here. Ba-ba! And then there's rhythm. Then the rhythm cuts out again. Then we have two hits. Ba-ba! And then rhythm again. Ba-ba-ba. So we always are going back and forth between no rhythm, lots of rhythm, no rhythm. Lots of rhythm, lots of rhythm. And that creates this really, really cool feeling that keeps you on your toes, keeps you interested. It also serves to highlight the lyrics. Because like I said over here, when there's silence in the band, when the band's not playing at all, we really listen to what the singer is saying. But even when the band is just holding one note, there's not that much happening in the band. And so where everything is happening is in the singer's voice and in the singer's lyrics. So that's where our attention goes, because that's where everything is happening. That's where all the fun stuff is. 'Cause Daddy's in denial, Daddy doesn't wanna feel. He wants me to smile and clap like a performing seal. I also want to point out the very clever internal rhyme. The obvious rhyme is the held feel and seal, which are held out, but I also want to highlight there's an internal rhyme, which means a rhyme that happens inside the line, so not at the end of the line. Daddy's in denial. He wants me to smile. That's some clever lyric writing. Thank you, Eddie Perfect. Then we go to the bridge. The bridge in a song is where we get a new kind of musical idea that comes in that usually provides contrast to what we've heard so far. If you have a really loud song, then generally the bridge will be very quiet. If you have a song that is very straight, then oftentimes the bridge will be syncopated and vice versa. If you have a song that's in a major key, sometimes the bridge will be in a minor key and vice versa. Here, we have a key change. So you can tell because there's a key signature there. Here, the key has 3 sharps. And here we're changing to a key that only has 1 sharp. So it's a different key. It's not, they're both minor keys, but they're just different minor keys. So there is a change of key. And then the other thing is, remember, I always talked about how that chord came in because of the harmonic rhythm half a beat before the start of the bar. Look at the harmonic rhythm here. E minor, directly on the bar. D sus, directly on the bar. D is like halfway through the bar. C is directly on the bar. A minor is directly on the bar. So the harmonic rhythm now is no longer anticipated. It no longer is coming in half a beat before the bar. Now it's just coming right in. Contrast. The bridge is doing something different. And also check this out, legato. That is a fancy Italian term, which means connected, pulled together, slurred, as opposed to like rock, you would usually assume would be very punchy. It would sound like this. Right? Legato is when it's all connected, when it all flows together. So if I go back to the legato section, it sounds not like this. That's not legato. Legato is this. Ooh, beautiful. And contrasty. And the contrast gives it a lot of haunting. The melody, too, uses all of these semitones that are very haunting in the bridge. In the verse and the chorus, we don't get any semitones that are notes that are right next to each other on the piano. The melody here, for example, is he wants me to smile and clap like a performing seal. There's all these big jumps. But when you have these semitones that are right next to each other, it creates this really haunting feeling. You're Your strange creation. Right next to each other on the piano. And it creates this like Doppler sound effect, which is very haunting and creepy and scary, and provides contrast to the big leaps of the verse and the chorus. Then we get this repeated high thing here, this like arpeggio with a changing bass, but the right hand stays the same, and that builds until key change. So we take the exact same thing that we've been hearing, which is those notes, and we move each note up one semitone. And now we're in a higher key, right? Wrong. Remember how I said back here, we changed keys. We actually went down. So here we're going up, but we're not going up as much. Let me show you what I mean. This here is F sharp minor. When she sings the chorus, he wants me to smile and clap like a performing seal. That note is a C sharp. Then we changed keys to E minor. We went down here. Your strange creation. And then we go up a semitone. Ba 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 ba. Take me where my soul can run. And now she's only singing a C natural. Before she was saying performing seal up there on the C sharp. Now she's saying soul can run on a C natural, which is very antithetical to musical theater. Usually the last chorus, we have the singer belting at the top of their range. We move up. We give it more energy by moving the key up. But here we subvert that expertation. What's an expertation? Expertation is, I don't know. It sounds like a TED talk. Oh, look at my expertation. I don't know. It's not a word. So it's very interesting that we move down because it means that the singer isn't belting at the top of their range anymore, that we're not getting those high C sharps. The reason that we went down is actually to give the singer an opportunity to go even higher. So here, at the very end, she goes, whatever it takes to make him say your name, dead mom, all the way up to that E flat, which is 2 notes higher than the C sharp was before. And it's because we're in a lower key, the singer can actually reach that note even though it's so much higher. That C sharp she was singing before when we were in F sharp minor is the 5th note of the minor scale. So in F sharp minor, it's a C sharp. And in F minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's a C. Now we're in F minor and we're going all the way up to the E flat, which is the 6th, 7th note of the minor scale. So if she were to go up all the way to the 7th note of the scale, while we had still been in F sharp minor, we would have gotten all the way to an E natural. Which, I don't know. I don't know if there's a lot of singers who can do that 8 times a week. It's like almost as high as Defying Gravity, which hits the high F, and that's kind of the litmus test by which I measure all high female belting, as you will know if you watched my video about Renee Rapp last week. So that's why we move the key down a semitone, which enables the singer to go to a higher note in the scale, because the whole scale is lowered. But it still has that feeling of her going to an even higher note than before because she's going to a higher note in the scale that we're in. And most of the audience doesn't notice that we've actually moved down a semitone. So even though objectively it's not as high as the E natural would be, it feels that high because it's that note of the scale. Does that make any sense at all? It's a weird, complicated thing about changing keys, but I hope that I offered you a little bit of clarity on it. And if you find anything I say interesting, please subscribe and support me over at Patreon. There's a lot of cool stuff. I'm actually doing a live stream where I'm going to watch the entire slime tutorial of Mean Girls. That means bootleg video recording. Shh, don't tell anybody. And I'm going to react to it live on stream only for my patrons on Patreon. So go check that out if you're interested. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week here on Music Theater Theory. Whoa! Peace out.